This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and welcome to today's edition of the Pit Stop, where you, the pit crew, are the real star of today's show. Happy Monday to everybody. I love kicking off the week with the Pit Stop. Just gets my blood flowing after a great weekend. I worked, oh my god, I worked so many hours. Honestly, I am not even on top of the stories today because I worked all night. I almost pulled an all-nighter. Truth be told, I slept for about 4 hours last night. Finishing up my review of the Samsung Odyssey VR. Anyway, we'll get to that later in the show, but I hope you all had a great weekend. Hope you did some racing. I did do some driving over the weekend as well. Did some kart sim and did some other stuff, so we're going to talk more about that over a little bit later in the show as well. So, hope you're all doing well, and what do we have going on in sim racing? It is, of course, the whole point of being here doing this show is to talk about things. So any of these stories strike a nerve with you, I want you to chime in, let me know your thoughts. Anything you know going on in the world of sim racing, please talk about it. Whether I cover it on the show or whether you guys just talk about it and chat, you know, I want to make sure this show covers all angles. So there's a story or two. I'm not covering any of the April... Michael Clark, cup of coffee. Cheers to you, buddy, Michael. Thank you, buddy. I'm not going to cover any of the April Fool's shenanigans that went on over the weekend. And I'm also not going to cover the Uwe, I don't remember his name, the story on him and his words on sim racing. If anybody wants to talk about that, feel free to, but those are two topics I'm not covering on the show today. Just so you know, VR or not to VR, that is the question, Bucho. I agree. I am in a perfect state of mind for Wreckfest. I am looking forward to it. I'm going to get a nap in today, more truth be told. All right, let's get to the news. RaceRoom. You know, they talked about that WTCR. You know, and these guys, the original VWTCC, really had it going on back in the day. At track in Europe, unfortunately for me, events, live events, quality prizes. I believe you could win, I can't remember the make of the car they gave away. Was it a Skoda they gave away? I can't remember. But 25,000 pounds in prizes, kicking off at Nurburgring, sorry. So, for the 24-hour race. So if you want to take part in it, and you're in Europe, I mean, this is a race worth going to anyway. May 10th through 12th, 48 simulators. 48 simulators are going to be there. Is that 2 banks of 24 running simultaneous? Crazy, awesome event that's going to be going on. Look at this. Think big. Here's the arena that they have going on there in conjunction with this whole thing. So this is going to be a really, really big deal. And something that you are going to want to check out. If you're in Europe, you got to go to this. I mean, I'd go just for the 24-hour race, but I'd also go just for this. So, very, very cool event going on. iRacing. Man, there's a lot to talk about in iRacing. Number one, Red Bull GRC. Surprise, surprise, they did a write-up on a driver profile. They've been doing those. And surprise, surprise, they picked Mitchell de Jong. Now, deservedly so. This guy is... Man, this guy, I think he's only lost one GRC race in every race he's done online in GRC on iRacing. He is now making his name known in the World Championships. He beat Gregor Hutu this week at Australia. My God, Mitchell de Jong is really, really tearing it up. So, good job. I know Mitchell. I've met him and hung out and sim raced with him many a time, actually. And he's a great kid, and he deserves all the success that he's finding, because he's a real-life GRC driver as well. Martin Kroenke finished in 3rd, and that leads to another story. Oh, come on, go on to page. Oh, hold on. We're going to try a different way. Hold on. There we go. We'll kill this one. Coanda. Anyway, Mitchell is one of their drivers, and so is Martin Kroenke. Anyway, sad news is that Martin Kroenke is actually going to be pulling out of the World Championships. So took third in that last race. He's not doing poorly by any means. But in his words, after struggling yesterday due to limited time to prepare, he does not feel he can perform at the level he wants to perform at for the season. So there'll be no Martin Kroenke in the World Championships, which right now means that we're looking at a showdown between Gregor Hutu and Mitchell de Jong. So that's very cool. End of March means the March roadmap from RFactor 2. So if you go to their Twitter feed, you will find this. The roadmap talking about performance updates, VR optimizations, triple screen multi-view, additional content. Look at this cool car, the Mark 761. So some cool cars. Tracks they're talking about, things going on with the tracks that are there. So if you want to know everything going on with RFactor in their development, I love the way they keep informing us. Oh, that's kind of cool. I love the way they keep us posted on their news, on what they're doing, what's coming next. They do a good job of doing that. And ever since Studio 397 got involved with ISI and RFactor 2, we are seeing a lot more out of them. 4K resolution, is that on the list? Awesome. Sorry, I'm a little behind on the stories today. I apologize. I try to stay a little more informed. Next, he's out at Dakar, just getting in another car. Getting a look at the real-life drivers. That's Emiliano Spataro. Don't know his name of his Renault Duster. There he goes at a Dakar challenge. So these little 13-second teasers keep coming from them. Fernando Alonso Racing. G2 Logitech team. These guys are everywhere. Now they're on their way. After training in RaceRoom last week, now it's time to return to dirt. We are in an important week. The quarterfinals of the Dirt World Championship. You know, these guys were at the Forza Invitational. There's an interview up there that happened over the weekend with Danny Engels, longtime Alien driver, now the team manager for the FA Racing team. One of their drivers, Sebastian Job, I believe it's Job. He won the JMR scholarship and actually was off racing in this open wheeler over the weekend and doing rather well for his first time ever in a real car. FA Racing, taking over the world. Rick Motech, I told you guys, man, you could have gotten a 3-day driving school, go out to the New York Auto Show. If you could have beaten or done better than a 57.559 in the Mustang at Lime Rock, you could have won one of those driving schools. That would have been pretty cool. So, 2 years, but still 4K. I'm just catching up with some of your chat. And couldn't go back to VR. See, Virgil, it's people are gonna go back and forth. You know, I'm very mixed. You'll see it later today. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. What was this? Why are my web pages doing this? I have not been having this problem. There we go. Oh, Life of Rudy. This is the one I wanted, too. World's Fastest Gamer. So, the Life of Rudy blog goes on. Rudy Van Buren, the winner of the World's Fastest Gamer. And, oh, geez Louise. His blog talking about everything going on in March for him with the McLaren team. Look at this. Talk about high tech. My God, he's in a driver's suit, so he's running over to the simulator and driving. But look at this environment. That's what it's like. I want you guys to win things left and right. There we go. My pages are going. But he talks about testing. He talks about going out and talking to the drivers about the car, about things that they've done with setup, and very cool blog, and I'm sure your computer will do better with it than mine. Mine's frustrating me. Fast Track Global Media, Fast Track Sims, has a picture of Kimi Räikkönen in their sim. And you can see he's in hardcore mode, driving away. Looks like Assetto Corsa is the sim that he's running in his driving shoes and running on Fanatic gear, it looks like, in that Fast Track sim. Got a thumbs up from Rubens Barrichello and some other drivers as well. So, that's a cool thing going on, just to check out and know about. World Backup Day. So this was actually on the 31st, and this is brought to my attention. And I recently did a format and lost all my paint jobs, all my setups, all the DLC that I could get again, but it just meant hours of downloading stuff that I didn't necessarily need to. Anyway, don't be an April Fool. Back up your files. So, worldbackupday.com/EN is where you can find out detail on what to do and how to take the pledge. Kind of funny. So Kroenke fails to win and decides to quit. John, maybe it took more than he could do just to get to there with his schedule. You know, unless you're literally making a living, and if, you know, a living better than what you could make, maybe he just can't. I mean, it is still a hobby. Until you're making, you know, 60, 80, 100,000 a year, it's still a hobby. So maybe Martin has a real job that pays him far too much to be racing over $12,000 or $10,000. Perhaps. Just a hunch. I think it's still within him. I think it literally is a time thing. God, all my pages are crashing right now. This hasn't happened since my format. Stan, thank you very much. Game Debate has an article talking about Intel CPUs still being vulnerable to branch scope exploit. Spectrum fix isn't going to help at all. You know, I'm sitting here thinking, is this an April Fool or is my web browser the April Fool? But I'm thinking I'm about to start doing some computer upgrades. I'd really hate to do that to then have things come to a crashing halt. That would really, really suck. So, next up, DRM Revival. So this is a mod for Assetto Corsa from the DRM modding team. And they released a video quite a while ago, actually. I don't know why this was brought to my attention now that I'm looking at it again. It's been a work in progress, so I guess they've made some progress. This video is actually a year old, but this is... See, more progress. Sorry, again, I'm behind on everything today, you guys. I do apologize with that. Here's an article, and I only mention it because I have my review of the Samsung coming out today. But if you go to CNET, it's a whole article about talking about breaking up with VR. Talking about how essentially it hasn't made big jumps, big changes. It hasn't changed our lives. Lack of content, lack of quality games was the big thing he really focused on. And I say, phooey on you. It means you're still trying to use those stupid controllers, and you should throw those away and use your VR for sim racing, and then you'd see, like, wow, almost every game has been optimized for VR. So, if you like VR, there's plenty of VR experience to be had in the sim racing world. I'll testify that. But I do see where they're coming from. And if you watch my review, which will be out later today, man, I have a real love-hate thing with VR. I just, man, it's so awesome, and I still can't get over certain hurdles. And watch the review, you'll get my take. Here's his take at CNET. Mod for Need for Speed. I didn't even know it was really that moddable. But anyway, this is a lighting effect type mod to tone down some of their overdone graphics, I believe is the case here. Hardcore does not feel that VR is amazing. A lot of people saying they're still sticking with screens. I have a love-hate. You know, it is amazing to me. You see things that you don't see on flat screens, and it has... Anyway, watch my review. It's coming out. I did another piece on Oculus way back when from CXE. We've been teasing. Here it is on their website now. Phantom Gaming, gear up for the Radeon RX 500 series. Let's see if I can get them to send me one of these. Corsair. Oh, come on. I wanted this one. This was great. This is great. This is a little bit... Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Don't mess with me. Was my internet buzzing out too? What the heck is going on? Killing me today. That's not the one. This is the one. Corsair put out a very funny video. And it's like one of those rescue dog videos. Well, I'm not apparently not going to be able to play it for you. At PC Gamer, you'll be able to find it. It is on YouTube, I believe. Stop GPU abuse. And it's a commercial targeted much like those feed a dog or, you know, help a needy child type commercials that are very popular here in America. And this one is mocking the whole thing, and they're talking about that, and I can't show it to you because my computer is a total failure today. Big deals on the AMD Ryzen 5 processors through Amazon. Oh, we're going to lose that one too. It's a pop-up thing. I didn't put on my pop-up blocker. I've had no issues until today, but April 2nd, it's the thorn in my side. The thrills of effing live effing shows. Sorry, but it does make me angry and makes me a little embarrassed, so forgive me. You can laugh away, John. Please do. It's unfortunate. It's an uncomfortable moment. Anyway, PS4 free games. Somebody sent this to me. I saw another story about it. My brother's sick of buying games and not happy, and I'm like, well, why don't you just get a PS4, account or an Xbox, account, and you could play Mad Max, Trackmania Turbo, and Qbert Rebooted. So there's the free games there. Corsair and Team Secret announced their 2018 partnership. Now, Team Secret does not do sim racing, but I was thinking about this when I read this article. A lot of the teams that are growing right now are teams that are being created by existing gaming teams. The guys playing Dota 2 and all the shooter games and, Street Fighter even. These are the household name gaming teams. They need racing divisions. Maybe you have a team. Maybe you're on a team with some great drivers. Maybe you have some great sim racing friends and you can become Danny Angles and be the manager and bring the team to the team. But the reason I mention this is, hey, maybe it's time to start hitting up those teams and getting them to expand rather than trying to just get sponsorship for your own known team as the world. It might be another avenue to attack the esport world is my point. Someone sent this in. I believe it was Thawman. Thawman sent this in. And I'm going to play it, and I'm going to fast forward so it doesn't get pulled. And I want you guys to just let me know your thoughts. I'm just going to leave it at that. Apparently I am going to play the whole thing. Now I'm going to fast forward. Do they show it move? No. Anyway, is that a viable sim? Is that a viable motion sim? Canasang.com. The Vector GTL. Enough said? Great picture at Reddit. Yeah, guy sim racing. Cool. He's at a desk. Old school wheel. Oh, but the little tyke's driving beside him. Look at that. He's got a little wheel in his hands. He's going at it as well. I just thought that was a cool, funny picture. Sent in by Thawman as well, and I thought that was worthy of mentioning. Mentioned at GT Planet, in conjunction with that GT Sport update, there is a sale on the Fnatic CSL Elite. So you can get the whole package, starter pack at $499.95 until April 8th. That is assuming it isn't April Fool's Day. If Fnatic played some joke like that, they'd owe you big. Another story sent in, nothing to do with sim racing, but just maybe a little inspirational. Billy Monger, last year I believe it was, and I believe it was the wreck that took his legs, was in a horrific wreck. Anyway, he's made his comeback, and he now has found himself on the podium as a double amputee. So my hat's off to this kid because, talk about nothing's going to keep him down. Or we talk about excuses or reasons that we have or use for why we are not achieving what we want. And if you think of this, you got to think, okay, if he can do that, then I can do a lot more than I'm doing. It's in here. It's in your head, man. It's all in your head. Good job, Billy. Way to come back. Way to go show them that you will not be stopped no matter what. We talked about Malaysia. And, you know, Malaysia is one of these small countries that takes their racing extremely serious. So when you hear about a Malaysian esport event, it's not a small thing. It might be in terms of numbers, but it won't be in terms of performance and talent. Anyway, this is an article talking about the who's who, and, including 153 centimeter, weighing 41 kilogram, baby-faced Amin Hazikadi, who was the winner of the opening round. But anyway, they're playing that up and getting into that. This is a story of coming from India in Bangalore. Here we go, of a whole virtual racing challenge in Bangalore. So esports are getting big, and you know, some of these smaller regions are going to be really interesting to see how they play out and what names get drawn to them based on the purse prize, perhaps, or what the in-country talent shows. So more and more going on there. There was a cool, if you want to see that whole race between Gregor, Martin, and Mitchell, the eventual winner. Oh, let the cat out of the bag. There was a great broadcast of it on RaceSpot. You can check that out. The next race, of course, being at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, April 14th. All right, that takes us to the end of the news. Let's talk about other things beyond news, or more intimate than news. Oh, wrong time for that word. Tomorrow night at 5 p.m., we are going to have an interview. We're going to have a special guest in the studio. If you have not seen her before, her name is Emily Jones. And in the whole Ellis Jones misunderstanding, we came across and found Emily Jones. It goes by Emery Racing on YouTube. And doing a little research on Emily, and this girl, this woman, is very, very fast. Very fast. And she can race. So we are going to have her on the show tomorrow night and talk to her about a few things. Talk to her about her channel. Talk to her about the racing that she does. I know she races against Madison Down in like the V8 Scops series, which is like super duper competitive, and Madison's a top racer, and she's 6th in the points. So anyway, we're going to talk to her about sim racing, about life down under, how she got into it, the equipment she uses, and maybe some of the experience that she's had being a female sim racer in a male-dominated hobby or sport or industry, whatever you want to call it. So we'll have that going on tomorrow at 5 p.m. What did I mispronounce, Steam King? Next up. Oh, come on. Billy Strange. Billy Strange, our very own Billy Strange. It's not letting me play it, but just as well, because I have a link in the description of the show right below you. You can check out this video. And Billy Strange did a video talking about Eldora and can dirt be fixed in iRacing. And Billy Strange, if you don't know, has real-life experience in these cars. He knows what he's talking about. And hopefully my video won't get pulled for playing so much a video of Billy's video here. But iRacing, as great as it is in so many ways, does have its flaws. And if you want to hear Billy's thoughts and opinions on what can make it better, just check out that video. I have not watched it myself, but I guarantee you I will be watching every second. And what else do I have going on? So much went on over the weekend as well. As I mentioned, Samsung VR. That review will be coming out today, later today. Give me a few more hours just to get a description and a few other things done, and it will come along. I don't know which one, RF. I know she was at Albert Park, but I don't know how big of a jump it is from one to the other. But I thought she was Aussie, but I was going to confirm that. Also, over the weekend, I got a chance to do a first look, first drive at Kart Sim for RFactor 2. I have the link to that video in the description of the show as well. If you want to hear some of my thoughts and see me drive it for the first time, you can check that out. It was pretty fun. On Friday, I had Alex of Feel VR in the studio, and he brought the wheel. I wasn't able to really interview him. I talked to him a lot, and I got a chance to drive that. Well, on Saturday, we did a question and answer with you guys. So if you didn't get to see it over the weekend, then go check that video. I have a link to that in the description of the show as well. And that was a very cool... oh, geez, I'm getting... Oh, pop-up. I gotta close my browser. This is just unbelievable what's going on my end today. But I'm all done with that one. Anyway, sorry. You can check out that. And I basically just took people's questions and answered them as accurately and as honestly as I possibly could. Tonight at 6 p.m., we are going to be doing our RecFest 3. I can't believe we're doing this for a third time. For Monday Fun Day, we are absolutely doing RecFest again with our friends. I'll be hosting it. Discord members first. I've got a few other people lined up who I've been talking to. If you've sent me emails and you just want to 100% make sure you're in, send me another email today, Sean, S-H-A-U-N, at thesimpit.com. In the subject line, write RecFest yes, and I'll make sure to get you the password as well. Thank you, Steam King. So that is going on at 6, and hopefully you'll join us because we've had fun. We're going to have open chat on the Discord server, so you're going to hear the guys yelling and screaming at each other as well. And then the last thing, and what I'm going to finish with today, is a viewer rig. This comes from Chris Cohout, or Crowhout, and he sent images of his rig, which is a beauty of a sim rig. One of the nicest I've ever seen. Love his desktop, even. But some shots of his custom-built rig that he's very happy about. You can see that Fanatic wheel. Looks like Fanatic pedals down there. That's just sort of the wiring and everything behind his 4 monitors on this monster rig. So, Chris, I want to thank you for sending that, and I'll be contacting you. You can see the butt kicker there mounted on the side. Nice lighting, clean. I love it. Great, great rig, and a good inspiration to anybody doing a DIY out there. You might want to look at that and just check out. Yeah, they look broken, don't they? It's perfect. I want to get that on my monitors. I might have to borrow that or get that from him or make a Simpit version. But beautiful rig, and I'll be talking to you about sending you some Simpit stickers just for sending it in. And thank you very much for doing that. And again, if you're looking at a DIY, you can probably steal some of these images and get some great... Hey, there's Chris. Hey, how you doing, buddy? I see Chris is in the house. Well done. That's a beautiful rig. Beautiful rig. One of the nicest I've ever seen. So that is going to do it for today's show. I might be on the air before 6. I still have more things I'm testing and playing with. You got that video on the feel. That one's already out. You got the Odyssey. I'm going to have to change that graphic. Thank you. I saw you out of the corner of my eye. The Odyssey HMD. What a name. They could do better, I'm sure. Or I could do better. But that'll be coming out in a few hours. Maybe some live testing for me as well. And then back at 6 with RecFest. So a lot going on. More reviews going on behind the scene as well. More pit stops coming. More racing coming. More of everything coming. Thank you so much for being here. Love kicking off Mondays this way, but it's going to do it for this one. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.